Hey guys, it's Morgan. Welcome back to the Shlog. We're here at Highland Cycles in Western Colorado. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is our weekly vlog about shop life here in Montrose, Colorado. We're a little motorcycle shop. We work on mainly just dirt bikes and making them awesome, making them faster, making them rad. So welcome. If you do enjoy this, please hit the subscribe button. We are trying to grow this channel gigantically and spread the gospel of two wheels everywhere. So, yeah!
Somebody's gonna get high and it's gonna make me.
Welcome back. A lot of craziness going on. Last week, I took the boys from Task Racing riding last weekend. It was really fun. It was awesome. We had a ton of fun, so make sure you check out those videos. They're hilarious. Guys from Massachusetts are funny. So if you look over here, this is my kid's 100. If you haven't checked out that race video from Natarita, he blew it all the way up in Natarita, and he did this to the piston. So that's awesome. There's aluminum everywhere inside that motor. Well, not anymore. So there it is right there. We got her back together, all but the clutch side. Mr. Brady Metter is being so kind as to buy a clutch for him and send it out. So I'm going to have a brand new clutch tomorrow to install in that thing and get him ready to go to Sodak. We're going to South Dakota in 2 weeks, which is going to be rad. So make sure you stick around for those videos. That's going to be a lot of fun. So we got parts scattered everywhere. It's nuts, but that should be back together tomorrow. I'm filming all of that in depth, so if you want to learn how to put a crank, top end, and everything into a KX100, make sure you check that out. It's going to be good. Mr. Sheets, though, is getting ready to put together the YZ250 that blew up and blew the cases apart. Let me find those cases. So, I have a customer, brought us a YZ250. It's a long story. We took it apart. Cases were broken. Looked up, and case halves, you have to buy both of them from Yamaha. They're going to be $700 and some dollars anyway, and they weren't available. So we did some searching. I found a guy here in town who did this for us. Really happy. He welded it up, and then he machined all this completely flat, so we can reuse the cases, and it cost way less money. He charged us $250. He said we should charge him $350 is what he would have charged as just a normal customer. So that's it's actually a little less than half of what it would cost to get 2 new cases. So really excited about that. I know Zach's excited to get this thing together and parts off his lift. So there's Zach. Look at that. He's a little bit happy because he's eating donuts right now. Big thanks to Don Rhodes who brought us donuts and is making Zach eat white bread. Take that! So good. Anyway, guys, I am going to start the day by putting that 250 XCF back together. Brady at TBT just did full revalve on that thing, so I'm going to slap that thing back together so Mr. Anderson can come pick that up. And then I've got a ton of work to do on a bunch of KTMs for a customer. I'm going to leave this thing on the lift right now because tomorrow I should have everything to put it back together. So anyway, let's get off after it. Well, is that recording now? It is recording. It wasn't recording for that. Oh, you people! Someday you'll see deep inside the belly of Highland Cycles, and it will be awesome. So Zach is getting ready to put the cases back together on that YZ250. Really massive thank you to Gary at San Juan Machine and Fabrication for getting that done. Not a lot of machinist welders out there that would do that kind of stuff anymore. But the next mystery on my lift, so well, it's not on my lift yet. It's going to be after I verify the problem, is this 300 XCW TPI. It's got some weird running issues. I think I know what's going on with it, and we have a part to install, but I'm going to go verify the problem by riding it, and then I'll come back in and talk to you guys. All right, guys, so I just got done riding this wonderful pile of crap, if you ask me. Be real honest here. So, I don't know, what year is this thing? It's a Chilean 6 days, so it's whatever. Anyway, it's new, and it runs like poop. It's super lean, and like sometimes that's what's weird. Is it like you warmed it up, it's all good, you rev it, bang, bang, it seems good, and then you go rev it again, it goes, boom, like this big lean bog, and then it hang idles a little bit, and so yeah. So this is the reason I'm not a big fan of the TPI, because this is a fuel injected bike. It's got plenty of gas in it, just make sure. It should just be like push the button and go ride it. So I think I know what's going on with it. We're gonna try something. So I'm gonna put it up on the lift and we'll dig into it. All right, guys, so we are digging into this thing. You've probably already guessed, if you're have been around these TPIs for very long, that at least my guess about this is the crank pressure sensor. Partially because that is the kind of the symptom of these things when it starts to go bad. Also, it's one of the, like, this guy's checked everything else before it even got to me, and they couldn't find anything wrong with it. And also, these are back ordered for like ever, because they keep going out. It's a big thing. So we got a new crank pressure sensor. He actually found it and gave it to me. So we're installing it. I can tell you right now, it is a nightmare to install. It's down in there underneath the oil tank and everything. But here's something that not a lot of people are talking about. There you go. Is, excuse me, something not a lot of people are talking about is the orifice that comes out of the base of the cylinder. So this is the fitting that goes in there, and these get clogged up and cause a problem because, again, it's the crank pressure sensor. So if this isn't breathing well enough, it can cause the sensor to be bad. So when you replace these things, make sure you take this thing out and look through it and make sure it's really nice and clean. This one's perfect, which is good. The other thing is you want to take your hose that goes from that fitting to the sensor, make sure it's really, really clean and it's sealing really well. If this is leaking at all, it will cause it to do weird things. So I'm going to install this thing. It's a pain in the butt to get this thing in, and anyway, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and install this thing, fire it up, and then go take it for another test ride, and I'll check in and let you guys know how it goes. All right, guys, we got her back together. And so when I first got this thing in here, it did not want to idle like until I had to rev it up. So let's see how she does. That's a good start. So real happy about that. I think that the air screw is still where it was supposed to be. I haven't fiddled with it. I don't think he has. So let's go test ride this thing. Way better. No hesitation yet. I'm really happy with that. Really happy. So I think we got her solved. So I guess the takeaway with this whole situation is if you're having weird problems with your TPI, feeling like it's kind of lean on the bottom and hesitating, try that sensor first. I don't think they're terribly expensive. They're a little next job. All right, guys. Look at that. Zach's got the bottom end back in the YZ250. That's awesome. Hopefully that crank still spins with that welded. Just kidding. Anyway, next on my lift is this 300 KTM, which is actually going to be for sale here probably next month. This is owned by a gentleman who lives up in Telluride, and he's ordered himself a brand new one, and it's just not here yet. And what he wants me to do is just go through this thing and make sure it's all good and ready to rock and roll for when he sells it. So yeah, we're going to start with making sure it runs. Going to do a full service, clean the air filter, change the oil, tighten the spokes, check the wheel bearings, check everything, you know, the whole thing, right? And then just make sure it's perfect. So I will check in as we go through it and if I find anything interesting. All right, guys. So next on the list is this, actually, despite its dirtiness on the outside, very straight 150 KTM. It's a nice one. It's a carbureted one, which is awesome. But it is disgusting on the inside of the carburetor. So I've already got the jets out and already ultrasonic those, but you can see that film of just yuck. It's actually up inside there too. So I am not removing the whole carburetor on this one, mainly because this gentleman is like in a giant hurry, and I think it's going to be okay by just spinning it. So on these KTMs, you have to take the slide out first. So you got to spin the carburetor the top towards you, take the slide out, then spin it the other way. Otherwise the throttle cable won't go long enough to get it out. So like I said, here we go, got those parts all cleaned up. Got a new O-ring for this because it was dry and gnarly and nasty. Got all that clean. Now I'm gonna run the float bowl because it's disgusting in the ultrasonic, and then we're gonna put her back together and we'll be good to go. I think we'll be good to go. Seems like everything else looks about right. Got to service it, clean the air filter, drain the oil, all that good stuff. But this is something that we do a ton at the shop, is we take things that have been sitting for a really long time and get them running again. I can just say, please don't do that. The best thing you can do to your motorcycle is ride it. It's better to ride the wheels off of it than it is to let it sit. Yeah, it's just not good for them. So things I'm going to be looking at on this are obviously chain, spokes, all the bearings. I got to make sure those are all still greasy and happy and moving well. The steering stabilizers, they're probably not awesome because they've been sitting. They probably need to be serviced. But again, the guy wants to ride them this weekend, so I'm not going to be able to service them. He's got GPRs. We have 250 XCW TPI also that we have to take care of. I already checked, and that one does run, so that's good. Yeah, I'll check in if we get any more interesting stuff. All right, guys, got that back out of the ultrasonic. It looks great. There's a little bit there, but there we go. A little bit of finger. It's all good. So, boom. Now we're gonna put this all back together. Hit the button, fire it up, see how she does. Then we'll go through the rest of it, and then on to the 250 TPI. All right, guys, we got the carburetor all back together. Everything looks good there now. One thing that I always check before I do anything to a bike that's been sitting is the coolant. But it's hard to do it with one hand, so hang on. All right, it's got coolant in it. It's kind of crusty, so I have to clean that out, but good thing is there is coolant in it. Gas is on. Let's turn the choke. All right, bike is choked. There we go. I've already got fresh gas in it, some of my mix, 40 to 1 stuff, so I know for a fact there's oil in the gas. like it. It's running good. So now we're just gonna change the oil, service air filter. All right, guys. So the next time I lift was going to be, well, I guess it is technically still on my lift. This YZ250F. Zach Sheets is out of control. Throwing things around. See what I have to deal with, people? This is what I have to deal with. So much anger. But yeah, so it's this 2015 YZ250FX that sadly was in a head-on collision. I'll show you what happened. And it did the damages there, and the big damages there, and even there. Fortunately, everybody was okay. There was a concussion and some injuries, but not terrible. So fortunately, everybody was all right. But it wasn't good. So anyway, I was going to really try to help these folks out. I have a spare set of YZ forks for my 250, but it's a little bit older. And even though they take the same seals, the same bushings, the same internals, turns out that Yamaha at some point shrunk the top triple clamp on them, and so my forks won't fit because they're too big up top. So that sucks, but we are going to hopefully get it sorted out. Part of the problem with this whole thing is that these are crazy expensive parts from Yamaha, and I don't know if we can even get them. That's the real problem, is not the money so much as the availability. So I've contacted Brady with TBT, and hopefully we're going to find some used parts or some, whatever. But now I gotta change this guy for a customer, so we're gonna get down on this little 12-inch guy, which is always exciting. Mini bike tires are always the hardest thing out there. So anyway. Alright guys, so on this week's Tool Spotlight, I just want to highlight how awesome and rad tire irons are. I know that seems silly. We usually talk about cool things like pliers and all that stuff, but honestly, tire irons are so versatile. Obviously, just got that thing done. I also love them for a spoon for my peanut butter that Zach loves watching me eat. Peanut butter with my tire iron. Well, maybe next week we'll do something more fancy, but highly recommend a good tire iron. Alright guys, it is the end of the week, it is the end of the Shlog, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you liked that video. If you did, hit the subscribe button, because that's a totally awesome thing to do. I love you. I hope you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels, and I desperately hope that what we're doing here is inspiring you to work on, and in Zach's case, get really mad at, and mainly go out and ride your dirt bikes!